Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Terry at Holding Your Space, and we have Juno Spear here today. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to have you here, Juno.
Hey, this is just such a pleasure. I'm so grateful that you invited me. And, we spend our mornings together when we're still
Yeah,
on our jammies. Well, I'm in my jammies, you know,
sometimes I am too. I
but
just put a
it's
sweater
nice
on
to
over
kind
it.
of connect face to face, even if it's only through a screen. But thank you for having me.
Yeah, and everybody's met you before. Either it's your hands or they've met you, because you're in the chat.
Yeah.
And you're always helping everybody, Juno. So I love that about the tribe and how we do that. We always are there for each other, and you are always there helping others.
Well, I'm following the example of the mentors that I learned from, and that with these healing arts, that's what it's about. It's about sharing it with people and helping others and helping other. I love the self-help part that you can teach people how to help themselves, which is really just a beautiful thing, I think.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. So I think everybody knows Juno, but I will introduce her a little bit. She is a teacher of Jin Shin Jyutsu. And I'm going to tell you
Very
about it
good.
this
You
time.
get a gold star and then some for that. Excellent. It's not
And
easy to say, believe me.
it's not, it's like a party in your mouth, kind of
It
like
is a drunk
Tadakiki or
party
whatever
in
it
your mouth. It's like, where does my tongue go?
is, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's gin, Jin, but you think of gin like the drink, and then shin, just like your shin bone, and then jitsu, Jyutsu. Like we hear jitsu and we think jitsu, like jujitsu, the martial art, and
Mhm.
jitsu that way is Jitsu, which means technique, I was told, and jitsu, as in Jin Shin Jyutsu, is art, and this is a healing art. It is not a healing technique. So that means that the practitioner is the artist. When you're working with somebody, even though you may know what order your hands go in to do a flow, sometimes their body will tell you they need something else, and then your hands will know to go there, and that's the art part of it. So
Wow. Yeah.
that's the 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 story behind that mouthful of words. We can just
Well,
say JSJ too, if that's easier.
and
And
you've been
there's
doing.
a lot of people in the community, and I'm not saying that they're right or wrong, but some people will say just Jinshin, and there I was brought up that it's yeah, that's leaving the art out of it. Why jitsu is the art? It just feels wrong. So I'm one of those sticklers just for myself to make sure I just always say Jinshin Jitsu.
Yeah. Words mean something, don't they?
They're very powerful.
Yeah, it's a frequency. So we were backstage talking about this. And Hypnicity says, we need to say hi to everybody. I call my healing arts.
That's right.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Sally, nice to see you. Teresa's here, Teresa Levine. TK Teresa's here. We're getting in lots of Teresas. I love that. Hi, Linda and beautiful Fatima. Hello. Let's see who else is here. Butterfly Kisses Healing.
Hey, Butterfly.
Shannon. Hello, Shannon. And Mary Thornberry. And Sharon Donnelly, another
Oh,
practitioner.
how is she doing? How you doing, Sharon? I'm sure she's Jinshin Jitsuing her way to perfect health after her surgery.
I'm sure she is. I'm sure she's working it. Yeah. Yeah. And Julie Hamill. Hi, Julie. I think I said that already, but I can't remember. Hi, Amanda. And I'll just say hi, everybody.
Yeah.
So, oh, and Ness is here. Yay, Ness. So, yeah, I think we're going to try to get some questions too. So, if you do that,
Mm-hmm.
we'll
Sure.
try. We'll try. Um, Amanda says, I'm listening today with my magical friend Dante Starshine, who has a channel.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, Dante Starshine. I love that name, Dante.
That's very melodic.
It
Beautiful.
is. That's like a party in your mouth right
Yeah,
there.
there's a party in your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, so we're talking backstage about teachers and how, you know, teachers will say the same thing over and over again, but
Mm-hmm.
each time they say it, you get something different out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been talking for several years about different positions to place our hands. And today I just finally noticed that it was our fingertips that were so important too.
Yeah, when you do, like, say, a lot of times people will say, "How can I increase my intuition?" I see what you guys out here do, and what's something that we could do to, you know, help bring that in more. And so what we do, you take your fingertips and you want them all together. So in Jin Shin Jyutsu, when we're placing our hands on somebody or on yourself, they call it jumper cabling. You're not putting something in somebody, you're not taking something out, you're just making that connection, just like for your car battery. You put the two clamps on and it starts the car up. So it's the same idea. So if you think about each finger as a connection. So you don't want to, like, say, this isn't a flow net. Well, here, I'll do it on my face. You don't want to have the pinky finger up. Okay. Get that pinky finger down and make the connection. Yeah. And that's the pinky finger is also for pretense and trying to. So if you're dealing with, efforting, trying, all those kind of things, you hold your pinky finger. So just think that. So bring those fingers in, and then if you put them on the area of the third eye, and you can do this way, there's a safety energy lock 20 that's on either side on the forehead, but it's still connected to the third eye, obviously, so close. And this means, this came into the universe meaning seeing as the creator sees.
Ooh, I like
so
that.
if you would like to increase your intuition, or when you're doing healing work or whatever, anytime, or what do people do when they're going, oh, I can't remember, or yeah, I should have had a V8. What do they do when they're right there? So, that's a natural. A lot of people will go, well, I already knew, I already was doing that. It's like, say, they knew. They didn't know they knew, but they knew.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because we do that, don't we? And usually we're just with our palms, though.
you can do that too. Yeah. But we were
Right.
talking, that was a place I could show easily with the fingertips, but
Yeah.
yeah. And you can you can play around with it on yourself and just go, okay, well, what if I only put a couple fingers? How does it feel differently? You'll find out when you.
And yeah, and I was playing around with how it felt like if I put my palm or the back of my hand on too.
Yeah.
And that was a different frequency altogether.
Yeah. And those will both work, and if there's another one that we say a lot of times is sit on your hand, safety energy lock 25 at the sit bones, and you can have your hands palms up or palm down. Either way, you're making that connection. So
Yeah.
same thing, if you're very limber, your feet too, but if you're using your feet and you're thinking of the toes, the thumb doesn't correlate to the big toe. It goes to the opposite hand to the opposite foot. So the thumb is your pinky toe. Okay. And then your pinky finger is your big toe.
Okay.
And an easy flow you can do there. Like say you're feeling out of sorts. I know nobody's feeling out of sorts these days. We're all just riding the wave and having a great time, right? Nobody's got any stress. If you have something physical going on or whatever, if you're limber enough, cross your hands and put your right hand on top of your left foot and your left hand on top of your right foot. This really gets that energy. You know how we were talking, I think, in the chat the other day about how getting the energy cross body, like walking, when you walk and you swing your arms, or if you knit, or, anything where you're crossing your arms and, in front of you is really beneficial. And it's really good for shaking up the energy and getting it moving.
Crossing the center line.
Yeah.
Huge. They do it for kids with autism or sensory issues. Sensory
so
therapy.
Doing that for kids, crossing the hands and holding the feet would be really a good thing.
Swimming goes through the center line. Bicycling even. Sharon says, yes, I am doing Jin Shin Jyutsu on myself. Jin Shin Jyutsu created a miraculous outcome, which surgeon did not anticipate and is still talking about.
Exactly. Isn't that great, Sharon? I love it. I love it.
I love that.
And that happens more often than not with people who receive Jin Shin Jyutsu or, work on themselves prior to a surgery or procedure. Less bleeding, less pain, less need for anesthetics, less pain meds after, less swelling, less trauma. It's just been, they do, there's a few hospitals that have like an entire wing devoted to Jin Shin Jyutsu because they found out how beneficial it is to help. It doesn't interfere with anything anybody else, it's not going to mess up a procedure or, something. It doesn't mess with medications or anything like that. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Amazing.
Sally, the chat's not working. I can see you. I mean, I can see that you said that. I hope it's working.
I can see the chat.
Yeah, we can.
It's hard for me to read it, but I can see that it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of energy healing that would be nice to do right now. We were talking about that too, about loving ourselves and what our
Mhm.
story is. Because I feel like right now we're being called to change things. Things are changing on the planet. The planet's changing, right?
Mhm.
And the dimensions are changing, and we're all changing. So it's like, how do we do that and stay sane? Well, maybe sane isn't what we want
I was
anymore.
tested on that sanity thing this morning. We won't go there, but oy, oy, oy. Thank God for a hot shower and some Jin Shin Jyutsu.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. Both sides.
and
Like,
that doesn't happen to me very often, but some days, and the planets are all in alignment. That was a big thing. We've had solar flares. We've got all so much going on. There's no, like, I don't know, a topic that almost doesn't have some kind of dramatic change happening to it somehow, some kind of drama.
yeah, yeah. Seascape says the chat was quirky when she logged in. She went out and came back, and it righted itself.
Oh, good.
Mo- Moira wants to know, is Jin Shin do the same as Jin Shin
Jin
Jyutsu?
Shin Do is what she's asking
Oh,
about.
Jin
Jin
Shin
Shin
Do.
Do, what is somebody, as I understand it, and I do have one of the books, is they kind of took what Mary Burmeister did and they changed the numbers. It's not the same. It's not it wasn't done with Mary's permission.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that there's bad info in there. A lot of people, this is how these things evolve.
Yeah.
But it comes from Jin Shin Jyutsu, but it's different. It's got a different. Just leave it at that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
It,
many paths up the mountain. I'm not criticizing or judging or anything. I'm just saying that that's the story. And for me, I've been so fortunate the way I came into Jin Shin Jyutsu, and that's a story I've told on other channels. Um, it's and the opportunities that I've had, and I've had Mary come through. I know this sounds crazy. I mean, I have had such literal validations that you cannot deny. When I was asking if she was a guide and helping me, I would. Can I tell a story
yeah,
real
please.
quick?
Love it. Yeah.
I have this deck of cards. Hang on, I'm going to stand up for a second and get this card I want to show you.
Okay.
So I got this new deck, and when I got it, when I saw what it was, I couldn't wait to get it. It's like one of those, and it's called the Beloved Dead, and it's to work with, past lives and people crossed over, things like that. And so I couldn't wait. But when I get a new deck, I have a quartz crystal cluster that came from the bookstore at Lilydale in New York, because I used to go there all, I've got connections there, and I bought it there in 2009, and it had sat in that bookstore for years, and like right before I walked in, they decided to sell it, and it was only $25. Okay. Oh, twist my arm. So anyway, I always put my new decks on there, at least overnight. That's my minimum, sometimes longer. But this deck would just not leave me alone. Like, come on, I want to come out and play. I want to come out and play. So before I went to bed, I said, okay, one card. And at the time I was thinking about Mary, and because when I think about, okay, who would I want to connect with or, get validation from? And she was one of the Mary Burmeister is like the mother of Jin Shin Jyutsu. She's the founder of Jin Shin Jyutsu Incorporated. And she brought it to the West, and that's why it's so proliferated. And she was an American-born Japanese woman. So she married an American. That's how come her last name is not Japanese. So anyway, so I shuffle in this deck, right? And I pull out one card, and it says, it's an act of love card, and it says do nothing. And it's a beautiful Asian woman.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Mary would often say, you are not the doer. You are a being. You are not the doer. And this card says do nothing. So I was trying to find, going through the book, like, oh, I want to learn more about this card. Well, they have in this deck, there's like, I don't know, maybe 10 cards that are these act of love cards that are separate. They're listed in a separate section. Couldn't find it. But I feel like, wow, I feel like that was some validation from Mary, really cool. I'm so honored. So the next day I'm in practice, and I'm all excited telling the girls about this. And I picked up the book. Let me see if I can grab it right here. Pardon my Okay, here it is.
No, well, I'm
This is
enjoying
the
seeing
deck.
everything behind you. So
Pardon me?
I said I'm really enjoying seeing your office and everything
Oh,
behind you.
yeah,
It's
thanks.
beautiful.
So this is the deck. It's called The Beloved Dead, and I
Um,
just love her. She's her love. I just resonate with this the artist and what she did was she got actual photographs from relatives or friends of people. You know, these are real people, and then she added, you know, different things like the wings to them or whatever. It's just
wow.
really an amazing deck. So the next day, anyway, I told my little story and other people were talking. So I'm in here looking at my book to see, you know, like that's got to be in here. Where is it? What did she have to say? Okay, so I opened it up. Hang on a second. And it says the first line in the book says, the do nothing card is asking you to sit on your hands. Mary always talked about sit on your hands, sit on the, you know, safety energy lock 25. I mean, these are her exact words, is right in the first line in this book. So now I'm like, oh, flying around. I mean, I screamed right out loud. It just struck me. And, you know, when someone was talking, and I don't mean to be rude, but it was like, I couldn't contain myself. Like,
Yeah.
right. So the next day I had a live show and with someone, I think it was Heather Jaguar,
Oh yeah, I love
Indigo
her.
Jaguar.
Yeah.
And I like to take a shower before, you know, and I spin my chakras in the shower with the shower wand. And you know, I put certain music on. I ring my singing bowl that John Binney got me interested in, you know, and then I even like it's big and it's close to me. It's at a level where I can put my head in it. So I really like
Nice.
it's really interesting. So I have this whole thing, you know, and it's like, okay, I'm preparing to do a live show. I take it seriously and I call in my guide. So I'm talking to Mary and I'm like, okay, Mary, I think you told me you're here. I feel like it, but boy, I would sure love more, you know, some real validation. And so when I go to take a shower, I'll put on some kind of music on YouTube, you know, that I want to listen to. And when I just opened up YouTube to play music, I didn't put in music or anything. I just opened up YouTube and there is the greatest hits of the Monkees. And Spirit's going, that's the one. And I'm like, what? And I like the Monkees, but like I wasn't fanatical, like, you know, but you know, I know their songs, but I don't know all, you know, whatever. And they said, don't worry, you're going to get the message you need. Okay, the Monkees. Take my shower. Of course, when you're in the shower, you can't hear the music. You know what I mean? It's still loud.
Right.
But as soon as I got out of the shower and walked down the hallway, the first words I heard were, Mary, Mary, where are you going to? Mary, Mary, can I come to?
Wow.
I mean, I got chills just saying it. It was like that was the first, you know, it wasn't like it led up to it. That was the first words I heard. And I went, okay. So I think the Mary's with me.
I think so too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can feel her energy around you.
Yeah.
I I love that. And um I mean, we've got so many people that are so intuitive. Everybody's on their path here in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but that, you know, sometimes spirit asks you to do something and you're like, really? You really want me to tell this person that
Yes.
there's feathers behind you and this person's wearing a headdress and they're on your wall?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know,
Yeah. Yeah, and
yeah,
it seemed like so weird. Like, you know, it was the last, but you know, Mary was like, she was a pretty hip chick, as I understand it, when she was in the 60s and stuff, 70s. You know, my friend Sarah, who was my mentor, you know, she knew Mary for years and studied under her directly. And she said the first time she saw her, I think it was in the 70s, she had on a lime green mini skirt and like stacked heeled green shoes, like dingle ball earrings, you know, the typical 70s, you know, she was stylish. It
yeah.
was the time. And so, you know, and she was also very playful. And so it was just so appropriate. But, you know, you have those things like people want to know, well, how do you know spirit's talking to you? How do you know you've made a connection or a validation? And this is how it'll be. It'll be so specific, you know, as you'll get past the point where, oh, I found a feather, which is great. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but there's more, you know, just keep asking. And I find that asking before I take a shower, I get more messages while I'm in the shower with that running water.
Thank you. The bathroom is a sacred place. It
It
totally
is.
is. The
Sometimes I'm
shower,
sitting down too. It's like
I'm telling you, the toilet, the bath, yeah, the
all of it.
shower,
It all
yeah,
works, you know.
washing your face, brushing your teeth. It is a place of transformation. That's, and you know, releasing. receiving.
Well, yeah,
So,
and flushing, and letting the stuff go, and like spinning the chakras. Once I started doing that, and I do it 8 times on each chakra, and I do the one that's like at the knees, what I mean, below the root chakra, and then the one above the root or the crown chakra, and do the whole thing. It really does help you feel better. It's
wow,
amazing.
that's amazing. I had the worst case of poison ivy one time.
Ooh.
Like my wrists were meatballs, and
Oh
yeah, it was not pretty. I
no.
wanted to go somewhere and on a trip, and Spirit said, you're staying home. Anyway, but water was like such a healing thing. It was like a drug when I would get in there, and I still feel that now.
Yeah.
It's like it is like this powerful thing, and I get in the shower, and it's just what a release. I mean, it's amazing.
I've been doing a lot of sorting through my stuff, and I ran across a couple books I have on water healing that I forgot that I had. So I'm going to have to get those out and see what kind of tidbits are in there.
Oh, I got my water healing cards out too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check those out.
Ness has a large amethyst crystal in the bathroom to accelerate downloads there. Yeah.
Yep. All kinds.
Going with the flow, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Mary has poison ivy now, and it sucks.
So to help anything on the skin, burns, rashes, hot flashes, dry skin, anything, you just place the palms of your hands on the back of your calves and your lower legs. Helps anything to do with the skin. So
I love that. Yeah.
And you can just hold your hand over the area. You don't have to touch it. Like say my hand was burned and I didn't want to touch it because it hurt, or maybe the rash, you don't want to touch it, but you can hold above it. Each safety energy lock, there's 26 of them on either side of the body. So that's 52, but they're a sphere. So they go above the body and they go into the body. So even when you're holding above, and as we know, we can send distance healing and do all these fun things too.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting because it's just recently that I've noticed in healings that I've always used the palms of my hands, but now the fingertips are really they're really showing me it's like a surgery almost, that you can go in with, not surgery like necessarily with the muscles. I don't know enough about. And we wanted to say for entertainment only at the beginning of this.
Yes, and, I'm not a doctor. I'm not claiming. Never do this instead of any medical anything, but I became acquainted with it through a physician and worked with her for 5 years. So it's a legitimate thing, but just so always consult your medical practitioner for any concerns you have.
Yeah. But the energy on each fingertip is so accentuated. It's so interesting. And it is all different, isn't it? Different colors, different frequencies.
Oh, there's so much. And even just like say in Jin Shin Jyutsu, we would say to hold your index finger. Okay. Well, you could spend 30 minutes on each finger. You can do each joint can be 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, and 10 minutes here. And, you can hold it, just grasp. I'm just gently holding. I'm not pulling. I'm not squeezing. You can do it, but you can also get in here and you can find, oh, there's a tender spot right there. And we call it hanging out there, like we detail it, until that tenderness releases. And because pain is just stuck energy, bones and muscles don't hurt, tension hurts. So then you can go, you can really work and do that whole inside, outside, the whole parts of the finger. That's one way you can do it. So you could do an hour a day, or not a day, but, at a time, just focusing on both index fingers or your both middle fingers. Both fingers. Well, you hold your middle finger for anger, and Mary would say, you Americans, that's the only one thing you got right, was that middle finger, holding that middle finger for anger. But that's also on an organ level, that's liver and gallbladder. So we know that, that's where we store a lot of our emotions, liver and gallbladder.
Oh gosh, yeah. And how many people, are burning their sugars wrong, and liver, just crazy. Amanda, I saw that shoulder pain for Dante. I have him starred. So you are on our list, Dante. Sharon mentions that you can also do it on a stuffed animal, stand in proxy to treat anyone.
Yeah. And I'm really good friends with Adele Lees, who does, she and I did a show, or I was on with Valerie on Illumination Portal.
I love that show.
January. And Adele was on, and she'll be on with me when I get I'm still learning everybody how to make all this background stuff work. But she will come back and be on my channel. She is just amazing. And yeah, and that's another great way to use the stuffed animal. And you can use it, you can, like, I've got my little skeleton buddy up there, I can use him. That's what got me into the skeletons, is because of the Jin Shin Jyutsu diagrams is kind of where I went with. So I'm not like obsessed with everything. I just think bones are very interesting. They're very graphic, and we sure need them. We'd be a pile of goo without our bones.
Well, and the Aztecs worked a lot with skeletons, didn't they, and skulls? Yeah.
A lot of cultures did. It's when you study around the world, but
and the Caribbean, a lot of the arts, healing arts down there have to do with bones and whatnot. Yeah.
But, so that's a really good point, Sharon. She's also a Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioner, and changed my life, saved my life. I can't say enough about it. And my dogs have their health issues, but they're like 15 and 16 years old, and they're still chugging along, and they get Jin Shin Jyutsu. They don't care about being pet. They're like, oh, hey, my hip hurts, and they'll put their hip up to me, or whatever part of their body they want me to help them with. And they know it. They can feel it.
And that's a special healing, because animals are so loving and tenderhearted and unconditional love.
Definitely. And they respond much quicker than people do. And children also respond usually quicker than your average adult, but that's because we have all these barriers that we built in our way. So, and it's not a faith-based thing. You don't have to believe in Jin Shin Jyutsu for it to benefit you. However, if you do, the more you do open up to it and welcome it, you are going to have greater benefit. But it's not like, and I'm also a Reiki master, and I'm not saying one's better than the other. They dovetail together beautifully for me. But to me, Reiki's like the umbrella, and Jin Shin Jyutsu is the specialist that goes in. And Jin Shin Jyutsu does not require an attunement like Reiki requires an attunement. This is just, like I said, you're just jumper cabling. So it's not faith-based. It has nothing to do. Mary was, she knew the Bible forwards and backwards. She would have been valedictorian of her class, but they wouldn't let her be because she was Japanese. This was in, I think, Washington State. So incredible. She was a genius, but it has no religious of any sort connotation. So,
no. Hi, everybody that's coming in.
Hi, everybody.
Joyful and Jessica. Hypnicity says, my 15-and-a-half-year-old lab is listening to you.
Oh,
yeah.
One of the best things to do for, like, 4th of July will be coming up. You think about fireworks and things, and with your pets. Trying to see if I have something here, but if you put one hand in between their front legs, and then the other hand on the back of their head, just like below their ear, or behind their ears, that's very calming for any kind of animal. So you can do this even though, during the day on 4th of July, the night's going to come, and pretty much everybody is around where there's fireworks. So, but if you start doing this to them before that, even, it helps them to handle it better when it's loud and noisy outside.
Yeah, that feels like the football hold. I used to do that with my kids. And I do
exactly the one in between along the breast, in between the breastbone, or along the breastbone there, and the other just on the back of the head behind the ears.
And they love it. Babies love it. Love it.
Mary would say with new babies, she would say to put like a one hand on the belly and the other on the back, and she said they will be happier, smarter, and better looking than all the other babies.
Oh, that is so sweet.
You think about that energy, and there's such a compact little package. You can do a lot just with that sandwich hold right there to really help them get off to a good start. So puppies, kittens, you could do the same thing.
Don't we wish we would have known it then? I mean, I did massage and infant massage and things like that with my kids, but now every once in a while, my daughter will say, "Gosh, I wish you would have been like this when I was little." And I'm like, "Yeah, so do I." It would have been a lot easier.
I'm going to grab a book I want to show you. Hang on a second.
Oh, Nest does the sandwich hold all the time with her dog.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So here is This is a book that Mary put together that's done for children. So it's called Fun with Happy Hands.
Oh, nice.
Let me see if I can get it. So a picture that doesn't have, okay. Okay, here's a little boy. He's learning to hold his index finger. See, so it's these really nice little cartoons, you know, and just a real simple description. So it's just done like a kid's book. Here she's learning how to hold her thumbs. So just great way to introduce it, you know, just really simple. And you don't have to know, I got to know everything about Jin Shin Jyutsu to be able to help somebody. You don't, you know, you can just do the simplest things, just holding your fingers every day, because there's 144,000 functions in the body, and each finger harmonizes 14,400 functions, or each toe also would be the same. So just think of the power, like Terry was talking about, realizing like the surgical, the precision with those fingertips. So
Wow.
they're free. At the end of your arms are just dangling there half the time, you know, we don't know what to do. Just hold on to them. You don't even have to know what it's for. You're going to help yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets more intricate working with energy, doesn't it? The more you work with it. Yeah. I'm so in love with that book. I'm going to try to find one for my neighbors.
I'll tell you, it's you go to jsjinc.net, which is the main office in Scottsdale, because I don't think that book is on Amazon. You know, I don't check it all the time, but last time I checked it wasn't, but I believe you can still get it from the main office. And it, you know, it's just really beautifully done for children. It's a great way to introduce it. Get kids started. And, you know, anybody can look at it. They don't, you know, even an adult can look at it and they're going to still benefit from seeing what the holds are. So.
Hi, Kelly. Kelly's here, the mystic next door. Kelly Scarborough.
Hey, Kelly.
Hello. Yeah, it's amazing how energy works, and it's all energy. And we kind of are on this planet thinking the more that we deal with society as we grow up, that, oh, I have to see this doctor, which is great. You want to see doctors for all sorts of things.
Certainly.
I mean,
Absolutely.
there are miracles in the medical field, but also that we don't have to think of things. We can change our story. Every time I get an ache or a pain, I'm like, what story are you telling yourself? What happened there?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And there's, you know, when I first started taking Jin Shin Jyutsu, because I'm just really coming into my own in the last 4 years, as a lot of us are. Through finding each other and having the support and having others to talk to and bounce these things off from, and opportunities that come. And I thought I lost my train of thought. Along with the train that went by.
We were talking about the book. We were talking about having the community and the support.
Yeah. Oh, and you know, I used to think, you know, this is just so simple when she tells you, well, just hold your thumb, you know, and then 24 years into this, I'm still finding out new things that happen when I hold my thumb, you know, things that seem very simple and basic that back then. I know there was one woman who was a nurse, and she studied under Mary to the point to being one of the instructors, which is a very rarefied group. There's not very many in the whole world. And she was a nurse, and she had developed, and like I said, I'm not telling anybody not to go to your doctor. This was just her story. And I took a 5-day class with her, so I got to hear a lot about it. That she came down with a certain type of cancer, and she thought, well, I'm going to have to ask Mary. And, you know, I know Mary's going to have this, you know, secret thing, or, you know what I mean? I'm going to get the inside scoop. I'm going to have the best of the best, and it's going to be profound. And so she asked Mary what to do. And Mary said, hold your thumbs. And Jill was like, what? You know, and then, you know, and Mary just hold your thumbs. And, you know, Jill did that. And it was like, whatever, it was a year or whatever later, you know, and she ended up, I'm not saying, I don't know her whole story with what she went through medically, you know, with the procedures, but she still says that there was a lot of healing that happened because she held her thumbs. You know, Mary was very wise. So you're going to, you know, when people will ask and they think, well, why is it so short? Is it only this finger or this or that? And you realize the profound harmonizing that goes on when you're just making that connection in your own, you know, with your own body, or when you're doing it for other people. So and so many miraculous stories.
And in the Vedas, there's so many mudras.
And we do mudras also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think there's 8 or 10 of them that we do in Jin Shin Jyutsu, and then I have several mudras on my channel. I've kind of taken a hiatus from adding to that, but there's tons of information there. If you only work with all those, you'll have a lifetime of study. Like with Mary, she would say, when I talked about crossing the hands and hold the inside of the knees, that's the beginning of the one flow. And Mary would say, you can do this one flow for the rest of your jumper cable days. Is just how she would say it. So if that's the only thing you do, you're doing just great. You don't have to know all the flows. You don't have to know all the details and where's the energy go in the body and all that. You can just work. There's a guy in California set up his whole practice. All he did was the one flow and was very successful. And, his clients did really well with it. So it's complicatedly simple and simply complicated, as Mary would say.
Yeah. As all things are, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like she would say, the more you learn, the less you know. You realize no thing, the zero, which is then you get back to the cosmic egg and round and round and round we go.
And I love that. What did that card say that you showed us that looked like Mary?
As act of love, do nothing.
Do nothing.
Yeah.
And that's that state of in between, isn't it? The state of neither positive nor negative, neither yin or yang. It's just like that in between state is where everything is possible.
Yeah. You're just, in the just being, you're not doing it. There's a lot of misconceptions with healers that they feel that they're doing something or they're healing somebody, and you're not. The most you're doing is you're facilitating their own healing process. But it's always good to keep your ego in check, and you're just a conduit, you're just a jumper cables, and be thankful for that, because that's a powerful thing. It's just like being able to hold space for somebody. Back to your name, holding your space. I remember when I first heard that, I had no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
And it takes time then you start to understand the concept of it, but to really deeply understand it, you step into periods where you learn how to hold space for others. And it seems to the outside world like we're doing nothing, or that's really simple, or big deal. So what? You're not doing anything. But when you do it and then you see the results of the fact that you held that space for somebody, it's profound. And it takes, like, if you're working on Wall Street as your day job, you're probably not going to be the best person to be holding space for someone. Not saying you can't do it, but their lifestyles are different. That's many paths up the mountain, but.
Yeah, and there's different times in our lives, right? When things are more conducive.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, if you've got young children, or you've got your career, or both,
exactly,
which a lot of people do, and you're doing the best you can, and then you get to that point where, hey, I can give back, and I can, or better yet, I can do this just for me.
Yeah, all of the above. And if you're in a business environment and you're sitting at a meeting, right? And at a big conference table, you can sit at that meeting and you can be holding every finger. You can work from thumb to pinky and then thumb to pinky on the other side. No one will ever know what you're doing. If you're healing yourself, that might help. I remember Sarah talking about, this was way back years ago, and she was with a friend that was going to buy a new car, and they were sitting this was back before they banned smoking in public places, right? And so she's in the car dealership in their little offices with this guy she was with, boyfriend, it doesn't matter. And there's cigarette smoke in there, and then the smells inside a car dealership. You got exhaust, you got all that car smell, right? And then the guy's cologne and everything. And she thought she was going to pass out. So she did Jin Shin Jyutsu on herself, and she was able to function in that environment. So it can really help you when, it doesn't cost you anything. You got these things, they're nice and handy. If you don't know, you don't have to say, Juno said do this, but I can't remember which finger and I'm having this, but I don't know which one, don't do it. Just start, just do any of them. If the worst that's going to happen, you can't do it wrong, but if you're not holding the exact finger, let's say, for whichever flow, it just takes the energy longer to get there. It doesn't mean it isn't going to go there. It's just a little bit longer to move through the body So,
How much of it is in intention then? Do you feel like? Or is
well,
it a
I think
combination?
intention just enhances it. I don't think healing depends upon it, but I think it's just like anything. The less resistance you have to something, the more you can allow in, the more
Yeah.
the healing
Yeah.
you will allow. Like my friend Jenny, she lives in Tucson, and they have horses, and she lives in an area that, most of the neighbors all have horses. And of course, Arizona, you got these crusty cowboys, in their cowboy boots and, macho,
Oh,
macho,
yeah.
uh, and we all need macho men. I'm not saying they're bad. But anyway, not the kind of guy that you would go, Jin Shin Jyutsu, tell me more. Lay your hands on me. So she was out talking with him, standing by the pasture or whatever. And all of a sudden he gets this profound bloody nose just everywhere. And of course, that's no fun. And Jenny goes, come with me, come with me. And he's like, what? And she goes, come with me. I'm going to help you. She gets him in the house. She has him, lay down. She goes, or sit down. She goes, okay, now take off your boots. And he had these cowboy boots on. He goes, I don't think you want me to take my boots off. Take your boots off. So he listened, and she grabbed a hold of each one of his pinky toes. And I've had sessions with Jenny, and you see God because she does it with intention. She held on to those, and it might have taken like 20 minutes or whatever, but it wasn't very long, and his nose stopped bleeding. And he was just freaking out that it's because he goes, I have this problem. This is never, like, however quickly it resolved, it never that quickly resolved before. Here's somebody who did not believe in it. If anything, he was resistant to it. But, you get a guy by his pinky toes, you can have an influence.
Cowboy.
But it was really, really profound. And when if you have something in the head, is it headache or nosebleeds or anything, you go to the feet, because it's the farthest, as above, so below. The feet are the farthest from the head. Because if someone's got a headache, if you work on the head, you can make the headache worse because it's too much energy. So if you work on the feet, you're drawing that energy down. Like newborn babies, because you're wanting them to bring their souls into their body, you hold their feet to bring their soul into the body. If someone is transitioning, walking out of their body, you hold the back of the head, and that opens the window for the soul to leave. That's Safe Energy Lock 4. And I think that was also the one that has to do with Mother Mary. But
That the medulla oblongata back there.
mm-hmm. Just gently, that real soft spot, and you don't put pressure, but you can, if someone's in that, if you're there when someone's making their transition, you can make it easier for them. And if you can't be right there with them, again, do it on yourself, send it remotely. You can assist.
I love that. I love that. There's a few questions that I really want to get to. I want to get to all of them, you guys. Let me rephrase that. Hypnicity said, I feel like Pandora's box is opened. Much is being revealed of many fronts, and yet it is all related. Do my guides have a message for me? It is unsettling. Visions coming through for me. Are the visions unsettling, Hypnicity? Do you feel like it's an attachment, or do you feel like your guides are sending you these visions to help?
Yeah, is she uncomfortable with the visions, or?
Yeah. Because Hypnicity's had a lot of openings, a lot of like the third eye, and she's been going through months of openings. And she says yes. Thanks and yes.
Well,
yes.
This is how it worked for me. And this was shown to me, this way of describing it was shown to me during a meditation journey within the last 6 months or so. That when you get a download, or when you go through a spiritual awakening, where you're starting to see and feel things differently, and it happens in stages, right? That, we reach one level, and then, at some point we go up again. And they showed me that it was like the locks, like the Panama Canal. Okay. So to go up to the higher lock, the ship goes in at one level, but it has to wait till that water raises up. So that's you when you're in that, okay, equalizing, you know what I mean? I'm getting my footing with this new level of understanding, or this new download, or this new insight spiritually. So you kind of, you know, get in a little plateau, and then you level there for a while. And then when you're feeling like, okay, I'm comfortable now with that level, now you're ready, you know, the ship is now high enough, the water's high enough to go into the next level. So, and you know, that however long it takes for that water to fill up is however long it takes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And they're saying be prepared. That's what she said. And I think that in one respect that's working for all of us, because things are going to change on the planet, and yeah, big time, and it needs to. I mean, it's the story of the planet has to change. It's not just, I'm not putting down billionaires when I say this, but big pharma billionaires, you know, nothing's working, and it's the old routine, the old regime, and it's all going to change, and it'll be about community. But it'll be about service. We all say service to others, but service to others is truly service to ourselves. When we love ourselves, that completely changes our story.
Totally.
But I do feel like you're acting on, and there's Mary.
Wow. Thank you, Mary. I
So
accept all the Marys, you know, Mary Magdalene, Mary, Mother Mary, and
I do too. Durga, Kali, Mary, come on. The water oracle, psychic abilities, acting on visions, it's destined. So destiny, and also the mist. So trust your inner compass, be led from within. But you're finding your way, and just find it in your heart and know that love inside you. I do feel like you're going through a metamorphosis. Things are changing. And I know you've been through a lot of changes this year, Hypnicity. They've been giving you a lot of new energy.
Yeah. Right. And that's, you know, allow yourself time, and that might mean more naps. That might mean more time in just being quiet. You know, sometimes I find that when I'm getting a lot of downloads, I just need to turn off everything and, you know, maybe go sit outside, which right now it's over 100 degrees. I'm not doing a lot of that, but, you know, find a way just to find some peace. And not to self-promote, but I will. I mean, that's why I created my Mindless series, my Mindless Moments videos, was to give everybody that little, my goal is to do it for an entire year. I'm almost halfway through the year. But it takes like almost 4 hours, up to 4 hours to create like a 1 minute or a 2 minute video. But I just feel like give everybody a little, and it's not all meditation, a lot, you know, a lot of it's songs that, you know, or just something that's uplifting and
music or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different changes. It's very eclectic, but put that on there. You can play that playlist. If you're feeling stuck, I do that a lot. And I find it really helps. It soothes me or uplifts me. It kind of does. It fills in all the different gaps, you know, just to play the playlist.
Yeah. Mary Starshine came in right when we mentioned Mary.
Oh, yeah. Mary. See? The card I pulled for Hypnicity was number 7. This is the Whispers of Lord Ganesha deck, and it's card number 7. And it says, enjoy the nourishment that life can give you. So, you know, you're recognizing that you're receiving these downloads and these upgrades and whatever. Sometimes, at least for me, most of the time, I don't know what that download is when I'm getting it. It sits dormant, and then they activate it. And, you know, they might activate it the same day. They might activate it in a year. But just allow it. You don't have to question it so much. Just, you know, allow it and ask for Spirit to provide you the guidance and to handle it with ease and grace as you're adjusting to the new energies. It makes it a little easier, I think.
Yeah. Handling things with ease and grace, that witnessing awareness is huge, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And don't worry about the rebuild, Hypnicity. When the chaos settles down.
You are helping just by being here and being part of this energy. You're helping. And, you know, that's back to that efforting thing. You know, I'm trying to, or I should, you know, don't should on yourself and don't should on others. I'm saying should just for YouTube. We love you, YouTube. But, you know, if you look at how animals are built, their shoulders, they're on 4 legs, right? So they don't hold stuff on their shoulders, right? We hold our shoulds on our shoulders. How many people have shoulder pain? I have major shoulder pain right now. Yeah. But we're holding all our shoulds on our shoulders. And animals, you know how animals just move through stuff. And it's because they just let that stuff flow off of them. So like
they
water
shake it
off the
off.
duck's back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They get out of the water and the cat shakes off the water.
Yeah.
The tiger.
And I love how ducks and geese do it, and that little tail feathers at the very end just
shake
wiggle.
tail feather.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That's one of my favorite things to say. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Hypnicity. Gotcha.
And when she says that's why I need to give healing, work on yourself. Mary Burmeister studied under Jiro Murai in Japan for years before she ever put her hands on someone else. She worked only on herself. So the Jin Shin Jyutsu is highly based on self-help. That it's great to see a practitioner, and sometimes that's really better because they can kind of do something maybe in a more profound way that you can't on your own. But take responsibility. It's another way of taking responsibility for yourself. If you're unhappy, you feel stuck, or all these things, instead of, as I heard somewhere, sit on a thistle and whine, do something, help yourself. Hold as easy as holding your fingers. I can't stress it enough.
There was one other person in pain, and then we'll get to the other ones as we can. And it was for Dante. Dante's having trouble with his shoulders. And asking for help with that. And we kind of just talked about the shoulders, so that's perfect. But who's here with Dante? I know somebody is. Dante, I thought I starred you, but your question, but I can't find it.
So what you can do is I'm just putting my right hand over my left shoulder. And if you get down where you're close to the spine, where that shoulder blade is, okay, when you move it, you can feel that shoulder blade move. Okay, that's
Amanda.
That's the door. That's like the hinge of the door. And there's a whole lot you can do there. So you might find a tender spot there. And if you're lucky enough to have somebody else that'll put their hands on you there, really, really helpful that can release a lot. Anything along in here, you don't even have to know where the safety energy locks are. You can do this. And remember, we want to connect the other hand. Connect the other hand on the inside of that opposite leg. Okay. At that safety energy lock 1, or what they call it, the high one. But just because, and if you can do Jin Shin Jyutsu one-handed, I'm not saying it won't help, but if you have 2 hands free, you're just giving yourself that much more of a boost. So you can do that. I can't reach with the other arm because I'm having a problem with my shoulder. So it seems to be the thing of the day. And if you think about how many shoulds do we in our society carry around with us all the time? I should get up earlier. I should eat better. I should walk the dog more. I should. And then add it on.
Yeah, that's kind of like Atlas holding up the universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't crash into the earth. And that's that Atlas syndrome.
Yeah.
That
and another thing, a really simple thing, and you know about the shoulder roll, and do that, and look at your posture, because that has a lot to do with the things with the shoulder. I got so many things up here. Anyway, I'll come back to it with the shoulder
roll.
But another thing was holding the back of the calves can also help release the shoulder. So this might be better done if you can have somebody do it for you, because sometimes it might be hard for you to reach if you got a shoulder problem. It'll come back to me, the other one. It was a good one.
Oh, Sally has shoulder problems too. Shocker. Yeah.
I knew I thought of what it was. It's real easy. When everybody does breathing, right? We're all breathing. And how many of us do meditations, or, we get involved in it, and we receive some breaths. That's another thing. We don't take a breath. We receive a breath. It's a gift. So if you're feeling, oh, woe is me and nothing's going my way and I never receive anything, look at how many free breaths you receive without even efforting every day. It just happens. So another way, if you want to help with that shoulder, a lot of people that have shoulder pain are trying to be Larry King, right? They got their shoulders up around their ears. When you exhale, and especially if you're doing some deep breathing, drop the shoulders. And Mary would even say it as drop the shoulders, like be the smile, be the dropping of the shoulders, really embody that. And you're going to, it really makes a difference with how much tension we have up there. You got to let those muscles go. Another thing, look at your pillow. Your pillow can be a cause of shoulder problems too. So think about that. I just got new pillows, and now my neck and my shoulders flared up, and I finally went, ugh, where's the V8? It was the new pillows. So it was part of it, but
yeah. Sharon,
look at all those things in your life. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sharon's suggesting the SS11 and 2 for shoulder pain. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you can go 11 and 2. Yeah.
Okay.
2 is kind of,
Oh,
yeah. Um, yeah.
yeah. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Um, okay. And Teresa Levine is asking, is there anything you can do to calm colitis down?
Okay. So thumb, stomach, and spleen. So you think of the digestive system, that's going to be important there. Ring finger, lung and large intestine. So this is going to help the large intestine. Pinky finger, heart and small intestine. So again, you may not remember which finger did she say. I did say thumb, ring, and little, but you can just hold each finger. You're going to harmonize your whole body that way, support your whole system. Okay. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, we don't talk about curing anybody. We're harmonizing. We're harmonizing the energy. So, and the minimum 5 inhales and exhales per finger is the minimum, and you can do longer, and you can't overdo self-help. If you're receiving a session from a Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioner, it should only be 60 minutes or a little less, not more. But you can't overdo self-help.
So do you have to balance that then and do the other side too, the other hand?
You don't have to, and it's whatever is, some is better than none. However, obviously, if you do both sides, it's going to be more beneficial and harmonious, but it doesn't mean that just doing one side will be beneficial. It just might take longer for the results.
Yeah, that sounds good. And does it matter if you practice like a yogic breath? Does that increase it? Ujjayi breath or?
Well, here's what I learned about breath in Jin Shin Jyutsu, and that's part of it. And Mary would say, she's written several different books, and one of her clients, or someone ordered the books and got them from her, and the self-help books, and they wrote back and said, these books are all redundant, blah blah blah. And Mary was just so gracious, and she says, she wrote back to her, says, I thought about what you said. And she says, you know what, you're right. I'm going to refund all your money. She says, I could have distilled all this information down to one word: breathe.
Yeah.
So obviously breath is, very important. So yeah, definitely work with your breath. Another thing that if you want to learn if you want to find out for yourself how important or how breath really feels in your own body, you can go right here at this philtrum under the nose, okay, and keep your mouth closed and receive some inhales and receive some breaths, inhales and exhales, and then you can do it. Take the finger off with your mouth open and see the difference and notice which way do you feel more connected, more oxygen, more, and it's going to be here with this. This is it's called GV26. That's a different thing than Jin Shin Jyutsu, but it's great for trauma. They use this on horses. They use it on different animals that have gone through something. And this is where the 3 plates of the face come together. And this is a very, very sensitive and vital area. So if someone's gone through some kind of a shock or a trauma or any accident or an emotional thing or whatever, a lot of times you can really help. Also good for people who stutter or have problems getting their thoughts from their mind out their mouth.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. What do? We go, oh, I'm thinking, right? So we know we're doing a lot of these things. We just don't know the full story behind why that's where we want to put our hands.
Yeah. Oh, Mary says that's called the center of the person. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
Yep. Very vital area here. This is my friend Sarah, who's my Jin Shin Jyutsu mentor. I won't go into the whole story where she was in could have been fatal accident, separated her skull from her spine. And the long story short, in her recovery, this was how she learned how to speak again and all that, get that brain function going again, was to hold here. Keep the mouth closed. A lot of elderly people, when they sleep, their mouth drops open. So that's really not good, because then they're not getting as much oxygen to the brain. That's another reason why they have issues with dementia and things.
Yeah, a lot of mouth breathing. Yeah, my brother's only in his early 50s, and he has a neurological condition, and so I'm going to be there next month. So I'm going to use that.
Well, and you can always reach out to me too when you're there if you've got questions, and people can
Oh, I
email me
will.
with their questions. And I also, you can book a session. Once I get this last piece done, I'll be able to do. Right now, I'm just not right where I can run a show technologically, not knowing how to do it, but I need a couple more things that have got to fall into place, and then I can do healing sessions. So you won't be in person, but we'll actually see each other and talk in real time. And I can teach you the specific self-help things, or but I also do readings. I do all kinds of fun things.
Yeah. Oh, Teresa says they twist horses' noses to calm them down and distract them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love that, because also everything that you're doing is you're putting your energy or your concentration outside your ego.
Yeah.
And you're looking at things with awareness. So even that instance of just doing that changes everything.
Well, and Mary would say, listen until you can see and look until you can hear. And I didn't say that wrong. That's how she said, listen until you can see. So when you're feeling, like in Jin Shin Jyutsu, we feel for pulses. And that's how we know when, okay, now the energy is flowing again. And there's a lot of different ways that they describe the different, and it's not feeling your blood pulse. It's a different sensation. You're feeling the energy in that person. So, and Mary was so amazing. She could, she worked on someone, and then many years later, she hadn't been in touch with them or anything, and they came back to her many years later, and she remembered them by their pulses. So, yeah.
Do you think this is the primordial sound that people are born with, or like their DNA frequency that you're feeling, or
I think I think it's all of that. How do you describe these things that are intangible? And those things all work together. They're not separate.
Yeah. Oh, Sally says that she'll come down and help you with your setup. I have her email. She's really good with everything technology.
Oh, cool. Well, definitely. We'll be in touch.
She's probably
right now. It's a matter of needing a new modem. I had an issue with Canva. That's the software, or the program that I use to create my videos. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, after 2 years of doing this and literally hundreds of videos, it won't let me add the music track. And so I spent 2 days back and forth with Canva to figure that out. And then after I do that, like, I don't want to talk about technology for a day or two. And then I get in the frame because I'm doing a lot of other things. So it's pretty much just a matter of negotiating with the internet company and getting the new modem. And then hopefully everybody send me your energy, that then I'm really off and running. But yeah, it'll be worth the wait. It's all coming.
Yeah. It's amazing. Mary says, my acupuncturist says the first thing she does is listen to the pulse.
Yeah.
She says it tells her everything she needs to know. And that's kind of what we do in meditation too. We listen to the heartbeat of the planet, the primordial sounds.
Yeah.
And getting into that, they say there's 108 primordial sounds that the universe made when it was created. And
it's interesting because, like, in Jin Shin Jyutsu, we do another thing that, like, if people are feeling stressed or unloved or just want to center or feel better, wash your hands and you put the palms of your hands, and your fingertips are reaching for, like, the back of that, that shoulder at the bottom of the shoulder, and your thumbs go to the center, and you do 36 breaths, 36 inhales and exhales. Well, 36 times 3 is what? 108.
Yeah.
So if you did it once, you're harmonizing the entire body, but you could do it 3 times and just think how profound that would be.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. This thing is making a lot of noise, and it's a scam.
Oh.
It's my phone. It's on off. Anyway, well, thank you so much for being here, because I want to, next time I'd like to talk about using this on the planet.
Sure.
And with Gaia and how that relates. And here comes Mary again when we start talking about that. So divine feminine. So yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Juno. And thank you everybody here. We didn't get to a lot of questions tonight. I will be on Allie's channel tonight for the dream interpretation show. And we get to a lot of other questions, and I just wanted to get to people that were having pain. But
You know, if everybody spent 5 minutes a day, cross your hands to hold the inside of your knees, you're going to help us bring the change that we want in the world. You know, all of us spirit warriors out here working, if we focus our energy, we don't have to do it at the same time of day. You know, we can really help support the planet and ourselves. So,
yeah, definitely. Kimberly says, thank you for being here. Held my index finger today during my MRI and it worked, Juno.
Yeah, that's for fears, tears and fears, guys. Hold the index fingers. That can really help. So I just love, it was an honor to be here. A long time waiting for this opportunity, Terry. I'm really glad it worked out.
Oh my God. I'm such a huge fan of yours. So I'm
Oh,
so
honey,
excited that you
I'm
came.
in awe of all you guys. I'm just a little bee.
Oh, no. You're flying, girl. You are flying. All right,
But I'll be on
everybody.
with Allie tomorrow too, you guys. So at 1 Pacific time.
Great.
It's
Great. That's going to be fun. Allie's amazing. She's like the godmother and the
Oh, I know.
professor all rolled into
Yeah,
one.
love Allie. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a great one. We'll see you. I'll see you tonight or we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good
Love
one.
you guys.
Night.
Thanks again.